Good morning, everybody. My name is Deborah Byrne from Deborah Byrne Psychology Services, known across social media as DBpsychology. So this morning's talk is on this week's blog, which is all about antisocial personality disorder. It is one form of personality disorder that can be had, and basically and very it relates to how the person perceives, thinks and feels about other people and the environment around them and their interactions with other people. Most people will have heard the term antisocial being bandied about in social media and on the media itself for a long time now. Particularly in regard to youths and teenagers and their behaviour. So I think we have to separate out that idea of antisocial behaviour from what is known as an antisocial personality disorder. Now, I've listed out the signs and symptoms, and I would encourage you to have a look at them. The reason I do these types of blogs is because I feel, for a number of reasons. One, it is a very good place for somebody who has had a diagnosis to go and get any sort of basic information. And that could be a family member, or it could be a friend, it could be somebody has been given any particular diagnosis with regards to mental health or disabilities. And, you need, first step always, is to have the basic knowledge of what's going on. And the second thing is, we hear about, as I said, we hear about all these different types of conditions in media, and, to borrow a phrase from a well-known newspaper, before you make up your mind, open it. So, to have information is to be empowered. That was the one thing I learned when my children were diagnosed with their disabilities, was I felt like I was thrown in the deep end of a swimming pool, and I needed information, but nobody was giving it to me. So I had to go and hunt it out. So I would like to give that back to other people. I would say, if you have something and you want me to write about it, just let me know. So there are two reasons why I write these blogs. Now, going back to antisocial personality disorder, not the same as antisocial behaviour that is bandied about in the media. You could say that psychopaths have an extreme form of antisocial behaviour. Most people have seen, a psychopath or, a psychopath in films and things like that. They always take it to the extreme, of course, as they tend to do in media and in the films. But that is not to say that somebody who has an antisocial personality disorder is a psychopath. More likely than not, they aren't. Very few. It's kind of like 1% of the population would be a psychopath. So then the next thing you need to know is that, like other disorders, it is on a range. It goes from mild to severe. And usually, the first signs will be shown in younger teens. They will come to the attention of most likely the police, if not social services. They tend to be getting in trouble a lot. Repeat offenders. And that's not to say all repeat offenders are, have antisocial personality disorders. They don't. It really is down to a psychiatrist needs to diagnose the person. So from that, they've come to the attention of the police, probably social services as well. Usually they've been, they could be abused or have, neglect in their childhood. The parents could have issues around drugs and alcohol or other mental health conditions, and they themselves will then probably, if they haven't received treatment early enough, they will go on to develop other conditions like depression, anxiety, drug addiction, alcohol addiction. Now, in saying that, treatment is very much possible, no matter how long the person has been going through what they've been going through. The only thing about treatment is, and as I always say, treatment must be tailored to the individual's needs. You have to, with any treatment for any condition, you have to really look at the overall history. And that is part of, the diagnosis. They will look at the overall history, everything about the person they will look at in order to tailor the treatment. And the treatment may need to focus maybe on, say, an alcohol or a drug addiction first before you can treat, the antisocial behaviour part of it. Or, other things have to fall into place. I do give some examples of some of the types of treatment that are given. We also know that drugs aren't effective with antisocial behaviour. They're not usually given. I'm open to correction, but they're not usually given for the antisocial behaviour or the antisocial personality disorder itself, but they could be given to treat other conditions that the person has developed. And that's about it, because I'm just basically asking you to keep an open mind when you read these blogs. Take that information and make up your own mind. That is all I ask you to do, is make up your own mind. And I will leave it there. You can check out this week's blog, and it's at www.deborahbyrnepsychologyservices.com. And I will be on next Wednesday again. And I thank you for tuning in. And I'll say good morning.